Well, we're excited about having everyone here today at the forum. It's a historic venue. It's so many great fights, so many legendary fighters. Chiquita Gonzalez fighting here, Michael Carbajal, Barrera, Oscar De La Hoya. So many, the list goes on and on. And so we're excited now to bring the second fight since the renovation of the forum. So you have the storied history plus the newly renovated building, and it's going to be a great combination. And we're providing a great evening of fights come May 16th. This will be the second fight for Triple G here in the Southern California area. As all of you know, he completely sold out the StubHub Center, where it was over 1,000 of their regular capacity. So it was just natural coming to a venue like this, and we're really excited about that. Before I start the press conference and introducing people, I wanted to officially announce, there's been a lot of rumors, and I hate to make announcements until everything's finalized, but I want to officially announce the co-feature for our show. I mean, this is a tremendous main event. I think everyone will be really excited about the co-feature. We always like to provide the best entertainment for the fans, whether the fighters are with K2 or with other promoters. And we saw that in the last fight with Donaire and Walters. And this time, we wanted to make the deal with Mr. Honda and Tekken Promotions. We're going to officially announce Chocolatito as the co-feature on the show. He's one of the best fighters in the world, undefeated. He's on all the pound-for-pound lists against Edgar Sosa, who's with Zamfir Promotions from Mexico. And that's a great co-feature, and I think it'll really provide a night of tremendous boxing for the fans. And that's really the name, pound for pound, because it's going to be one of the few shows that a fan can spend $30 and see two of the best fighters, two of the best pound for pound fighters in their prime fighting on May 16th. So with that being said, I wanted to thank Artie Palulu and Banner Promotions. Matt Rowland is here to represent Artie. It didn't take a long time to get the fight done. It took a long time to make the announcement, but as soon as I called Artie, he was actually pretty surprised, because when I talked to Oleg and Gennady, Oleg said, Gennady wants to fight a southpaw. And when I told Artie that, he was shocked. He's like, everyone tries to avoid, southpaws. And, Willie has tremendous credentials. He's been on ESPN 4 times within the last year. He just easily beat Brian Vera, who gave Chavez a heck of a time. And, one of the slickest boxers and most difficult styles that is out there. And Gennady, likes those type of challenges, and we think it'll be a real contrast of styles. So I want to definitely acknowledge Banner Promotions and Artie and Matt for helping put that together. With that being said, anytime we do a promotion, the main focus, it's our job to provide the entertainment, and it's the job of the fighters in the ring to provide entertainment, but the priority of the night is that everyone comes out safe, from the ring, because boxing is really, can be a dangerous sport. And so I'd like to introduce, we're excited about coming back to California. It's my hometown. It's now the hometown of Gennady. Gennady's officially a resident of Los Angeles. He moved his family here to Los Angeles, and we're excited about coming back to California and working with the California State Athletic Commission. I'd like to introduce Martha Shen to say a few words on behalf of the California State Athletic Commission.
Hi, everyone. Like Tom said, my name is Martha Shen-Urquidez, and I serve as a commissioner for the California State Athletic Commission. The commission is honored to work again with Tom and K2, one of the most prestigious boxing organizations in the world, to bring this very exciting event to California. The California State Athletic Commission is committed to protect the health and safety of all athletes in these competitive events. by providing world-class officials, ringside physicians, and inspectors. In so doing, to ensure the safety and competitive fairness in boxing. Having said that, I had the privilege of being at 3 of Triple G's fights. One time last July at Madison Square Garden in New York, last October here in California at the StubHub Center just down the street in Carson City. And I was lucky enough to be in Monte Carlo February 21st when Triple G fought Murray. And of course, my personal experience, the most personal experience, is with the StubHub Center because it was in California. And we are proud to say that that event broke all kinds of records. Some of you know that the tickets sold out so fast that the promotion had to bring in bleacher seats. Those sold out so fast, they had to sell standing room only seats. And my understanding is that in order to accommodate some of the disappointed fans, they tried to sell more seats, but I think the fire department put sort of a stop to that. That event was the most attended event ever at the StubHub Center. And so we are very excited to bring another evening of boxing that should be incredible, May 16th. And I have another anecdote. During the event, and some of you may know that Triple G, he loves his fans. So before he takes the ring, he likes to circle the crowd and to greet the fans. But we were just shocked when he came out into the crowd, the thunderous noise that the fans made. In fact, it was so shocking that some of our inspectors who didn't realize that he had come into the crowd, they just shot across the arena because they didn't know what was happening. And it took about 2 or 3 seconds before they realized that it was Triple G coming out. The noise was just deafening. And it is this type of boxer who is a gentleman inside the boxing world and outside of the boxing world that the fans just love. And in turn, he loves the fans, and he's a tremendous ambassador for the sport of boxing. And Mr. Monroe, on behalf of the California State Athletic Commission, we would like to welcome you to California. Mr. Monroe has not fought in California before, but he has a tremendous record, particularly in the last 4 fights. And as Tom has said, he defeated this last January the veteran Brian Vera. And these gentlemen are going to join some of the Hall of Famers who fought at the legendary Forum, which has now been renovated. Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Thomas Hearns, Oscar De La Hoya, Jose Napoles, Carlos Zarate, Bobby Chacon, who's also from California, just to name a few. So, Mr. Monroe, thank you for coming to California, and we welcome you warmly into our state, and we wish you the best of luck on May 16th. To our loyal fans around the world, and especially to our loyal fans in California, we thank you for attending our events and for watching our events around the world. And I would also like to say, in Spanish, me gustaría agradecer a nuestros fieles fanáticos del boxeo en todo el mundo y especialmente en California por su apoyo, y esperamos verlos a todos el 16 de mayo en Campeonato de Boxeo. On behalf of the Governor of the State of California, the Department of Consumer Affairs, the California State Athletic Commission, Chairman Carvelli, and all of us commissioners, we cannot be prouder to be part of an event of this caliber, and we look forward to a safe and successful event. And we thank K2 and Banner Promotions for bringing this event to the state of California. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. They really do a wonderful job in California, and we're happy to be here, and they have some of the best officials in the world here. With that being said, I want to introduce Dana Dufine as the host here, representing the forum. Again, we're excited to be here. Dana?
Thank you, Tom. As you all know, the Fabulous Forum has a rich boxing history dating back to 1968, and we are proud to continue that tradition with the World Middleweight Championship matchup of Triple G versus Monroe Jr. To date, this historic building has hosted over 400 fights and welcomed over 2 million boxing fans through its doors. The legends Muhammad Ali, Ken Norton, Oscar De La Hoya, Tommy Hearns, Julio Cesar Chavez, Shane Mosley, Virgil Hill, and many more have all fought at the Forum. And we look to add to that storied list with this new generation of fighters. We'd like to thank our partners, Tom Loeffler and K2 Promotions, Matt Rowland and Banner Promotions, Peter Nelson, and HBO. They represent the best in the sport, and it's been a pleasure working with them. May 16 is going to be another historic night for the Forum, and we look forward to seeing you here. Muchas gracias.
Dana really outlined some of the historic fights that have taken place here at the Forum, and with this event, an event of this caliber wouldn't be able to take place without the help and financial support of our strategic partner at HBO. They've been behind Gennady since it was September 2012 when he made his HBO debut. And ever since then, they've put him at the top of the priority list as far as recognizing he's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport today. And Gennady really wouldn't be where he is, not only in the United States, but internationally, without the help and support of HBO. So on behalf of this promotion, I'd like to introduce Peter Nelson of HBO.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you to all the media for coming out today. It's great to see the kind of support that Gennady's fights have come to generate in the press. And for us, it's been a long journey. I remember back when I was a journalist talking with this gentleman right here, Doug Fisher, and we were talking about who the best middleweights in the world were. And Doug said to me that at that time, he said, I'm not sure, but I think that Gennady Golovkin may be the best pound for pound, maybe in any division, not just middleweight. But we need to see him tested, and we need to see that scene. And it took some time before he could make it onto HBO. And with each successive event that we did, we saw fans respond. So even though he would go into fights, sometimes a 2-1 favorite, a 3-1 favorite, we'd always try to find the best available guy to fight him. But the fans respected that every test that was put in front of him, he tried his best to put on a show. With many fighters in boxing, fans can hope to be entertained, but with Gennady Golovkin, they can expect to be. And it's the delineating difference between knowing the value of the ticket that you're buying. This fight is, again, a strong test for Gennady. We haven't seen him in against this style of fight before. Ever since he challenged for the title the first time, Gennady knocked out his opponent. He's done so 12 times since. At the World Championship level, he is 100% knockout ratio and the longest streak of any champion of which I'm aware. He looks to continue that tradition. On the other side, Willie Monroe is going to look to upend those expectations. For us, we see this as being yet another event in the trajectory of Gennady's career, where we've been asked again and again to find the toughest fight that we can for him. And it's Gennady himself who is driven to try to create those moments. But again and again, we see that opponents after they can go just past, 7, 8 rounds, are celebrating in the locker room that they made it even that far against Gennady Golovkin to get knocked out. So he's a unique fighter, and it's a strong test in front of Willie Monroe. But we fully expect from what we've seen from his performances on ESPN that he can rise to that occasion. So I want to thank Artie Palulo and Banner Promotions, Matt Rowland. I want to thank Dina Define, everyone at the Forum, Joel Fisher, Sal Federico as well. And I want to say a word about Chocolatito being on this show, because he's another fighter with whom we've tried to architect his debut on HBO for some time. And I had a fuzzy notion a while ago of trying to do a tournament that would be called Lord of the Flyweights. This and other bad boxing puns on a daily basis at the office. But at the end of the day, what we've seen emerge is that Chocolatito Gonzalez presently is the Lord of the Flyweights. And this fight that's in front of him and Edgar Sosa is one of the toughest tests to date. We didn't want to just have a check-of-the-box fight for him when he showed up on the network. We wanted a strong test for him. And we look forward to a strong partnership going forward, because we see in the flyweight division that there's a richness and caliber of fighter, and they don't deserve to be ignored simply because they fight at a lower weight. I don't think that HBO has had a fight at flyweight specifically in about 20 years. We went lower than flyweight, I believe, for Carbajal in 1997. But it's been a long time since we've seen fighters at these weights perform on the network, and we're thrilled and privileged to be able to have them on our platform. So I want to thank, above all, Tom Loeffler for having the vision to put together this show. And I want to thank the fighters and their teams, Gennady, Max and Oleg Araman, and Abel Sanchez. It's a privilege to work with their team, and we look forward to a great event on May the 16th. Our start time is going to be 9:45 ETPT. We look forward to seeing you all there. Thank you.
Just an anecdote with HBO. When we first went into their offices, probably in February 2012, Peter had a list of fighters, and I have to really say Peter really advocated for Gennady to come on the network, because he'd never been on US TV before. He was the WBC, or he still is the WBC middleweight champion, but he never really was known over here in the United States, and it really took a push that Peter advocated for to get him on the network. But I'm going to put Peter on the spot here for a minute, and there was like a list of like 20 names, and he just was like throwing them out. Would you fight this guy? Would you fight that guy? Just trying to figure out who would make the most sense at that particular time. And to this day, we've never turned down one name from HBO. Is that correct? And a lot of that has to do with Abel Sanchez and the vision with Oleg Herman as the manager. I mean, they understand boxing is a sport, but at the same time, it's entertainment. Entertainment is what will sell tickets and get TV ratings. And so Abel understands the style that he trains Gennady in, which is now famously called the Mexican style. But I mean, he understands it's an entertainment sport, and if Gennady, says, well, okay, I'll fight this guy, but I won't fight that guy, and this guy's too tall, or this guy's a southpaw, or whatever it is. I mean, it's really the best available person at that time that's willing to get in the ring with Gennady, and that's clearly Willie Monroe Jr. at this particular time. With that being said, I'd like to bring up Matt Rowland from Banner Promotions.
Hi, everyone. I want to thank the real middleweight champion of the world, Gennady Golovkin, for taking this challenge. I want to thank Tom Loeffler, Bernie, K2, and of course HBO, Peter Nelson. I particularly want to thank ESPN. I know it's been talked about up here that Willie's won 4 straight fights on ESPN. If it wasn't for the Boxino tournament with Brian Queter and John Campagna getting behind it, quite frankly, we wouldn't be here today. So it was one thing for them to give us the dates and to allow us to have the vision of Boxino. But production-wise, they got behind us. They got behind the fighters. Everyone knows the fighter's story. Everyone watched it. Everyone respects Willie. And quite frankly, we need more of it. So I really want to thank, again, Brian and John. They're the best. So I know you guys don't want to hear from me too much, so I'm going to go straight to introducing Tony Morgan, who is the trainer of Willie Monroe. Tony's from Florida. He actually discovered Willie because they brought in Willie as a sparring partner for Andre Berto. Willie was just coming off his controversial loss to Darnell Boone, and since then he's gone 8-0 under Tony Morgan. So I'd like to bring up Tony.
Hello, how's everybody doing today? I want to thank everybody for putting this together. Peter, HBO, Abel for training Gennady, Gennady for everything he's done, Dana for the venue, Banner, K2 Promotions. I'm not one to talk a lot. I know a few faces out here in the crowd. We can talk later. We're going to go in on the 16th. We do what we do. We win. Gennady's a tough guy. I think his guy's been formally picked for him. I think he bit off more than he can chew this time, and I think he'll see that. May the best man win. I wish everybody luck, and like I said, we're going to do what we do. Appreciate you having us.
Willie is undefeated under the tutelage of and the training of Tony Morgan, so that's a great testament to that. And if I'm correct, Matt, it was 2 undefeated fighters that Willie had beaten to win the Boxino tournament. So he's definitely faced some great competition, getting to the point where he is right now. He's rated number 2 in the WBA, and will definitely be, I think as Peter said, Gennady's never faced a style such as Willie before. He comes from a great pedigree of a lineage of Willie the Worm Monroe, who beat Marvin Hagler as a middleweight in the middleweight division, and Willie the Worm was, a great middleweight fighter from Philadelphia. So definitely has the lineage in his family. With that being said, I'd like to bring up a trainer who I've known, a person who I've known for a long time, over 20 years now, and who I have a lot of respect for, and I think does a tremendous job for the fighters he works with. And I have to say, Abel was looking at, he built a tremendous compound up in Big Bear Lake and was looking at kind of stepping aside and letting other people rent the facility. And then when Gennady Golovkin walked into his gym with Oleg and Max, he changed his mind, and he's back in the spotlight right now, working with one of the best fighters in the world today, if not the best. So I want to bring up Abel Sanchez.
Thank you very much for coming out and checking Tom out. On a serious side, I think Tony Morgan is one of the brightest young coaches in the game today. As you know, he developed Andre Berto, who just fought the other night. I'm looking forward to matching wits with him. Willie's got a lot of pressure on him, and it's not so much from Gennady. He's got a lot of family pressure. His uncle, his great uncle, was one of the guys that beat Marvin, and I'm sure that he wants to emulate him. So we're looking for a real tough fight. Obviously, we're not in training camp yet. We're just beginning this tour. When we get to training camp, I'm sure Gennady will be his professional best, as he always is. We look forward to an extremely difficult fight. Southpaws are always difficult, but Gennady likes that kind of challenge. So thank you again. Thank you very much for coming out and seeing Tom. Bye-bye.
Now we'll get to the main participants and the most exciting part of the press conference. So with that, I want to bring up Matt Rowland again to introduce Willie Monroe.
Hi, it's me again. Listen, Willie Monroe, he really is a special guy. When we first came up with the foundation of Boxino, the hardest thing was to find 8 guys that were willing to fight each other without knowing who their opponent's going to be. It was even more difficult to get the first 2 or 3 guys. Willie was the easiest. Signed up right away. He was actually the first participant without knowing who he's fighting, who's in the tournament or what. And he grabbed the opportunity. Then Brian Vera came along. It was, what, 3 weeks' notice? 3 weeks' notice to fight Brian Vera. Didn't blink an eye, took the fight, and here we are today. So it was a few weeks ago when we discussed the fight with Tom. I mean, it was shocking that they wanted to fight a left-hander. So we went to Willie, again, without hesitation. He said, that's the fight I want. I want Gennady Golovkin. So here we are, back in Los Angeles, announcing the fight. I know a lot of the people out there were questionable about Willie. You know, he's an ESPN fighter, whatever that means. Very similar to the same stuff they said about Ruslan Provodnikov before he fought Tim Bradley. And now look at Provodnikov. Same attitude. He's never turned down a guy, never backed down from a fight. So without further ado, I'll let him talk. Willie Monroe.
Check the time. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just blessed and elated at this opportunity. I relish opportunities, whether I'm the underdog or the favorite. And I think we have to look at the fact that nobody really wants to fight Triple G. You know, nobody. You know, you have to look. Everybody's talking about him going up to super middleweight and light heavyweight to get a fight. And I'm taking a road less traveled. You know, a lot of middleweights are ducking and dodging, and I don't duck and dodge anybody. You know what I mean? I'm a champion from the inside of my heart all the way to the top of my boxing abilities. So May 16th is going down, and I'm happy that I got the opportunity, and I'm happy to be here, and we're going to put on a good show for you guys.
With that, I want to. Oh, okay. There we go. With that, I want to introduce fighter that's affectionately called Triple G. Those are his real initials. It's not just something that we created. I would say, and Peter has confirmed this, he's the fastest rising fighter in the ratings on HBO, where he started in September 2012 to where he is now. He had the third highest rated show last year of anyone on cable television, and we expect him to do bigger and better things this year. I want to acknowledge Oleg Herman, who's Gennady's manager, Oleg and Max from Germany. They're really the ones that brought Gennady to Abel. And they're the ones that contacted me to work with Gennady to bring him here to the United States, and that was my promise to them that I would do my best to make him a star here in America. And the belief was, if he's a star here, it'll translate internationally, and that's really what it's come to right now. It's a family really working with Gennady, and Abel can tell you, Oleg can tell you, Gennady can tell you. It's a sport, it's a business, but really on the Triple G side, it's a family. And it's special working with him, and he's a special fighter. He's accomplished many things in the ring. He's got the highest knockout streak of any active champion. One of the highest knockout streaks, or the highest knockout streak of any middleweight in the history of the sport. So with that being said, I want to introduce Gennady Triple G Golovkin.
Good afternoon, everybody. First, thank you very much for HBO and Forum family, of course. Thank you very much for Commission, California Commission. Thank you very much for my team, for Monroe team. Thank you for really very support. Thank you for your support, for me. Welcome to California. I'm living in California. I'm living with my family in California. Just welcome to May 16th, to my home. Thank you, guys.
We want to thank everyone for coming out. Before we end the press conference, we'll have the face-off between Willie and Gennady. I do want to reiterate that the tickets start at $30, which is a tremendous value for a fight like this, and with 4 quality fighters, it'll be on HBO. And in addition to that, we're going to put together another great undercard of fighters, including a lot of local talent. You don't need fireworks at the press conference to have fireworks in the ring, and I think the fight and the fighters are going to sell themselves on May 16th. So with that, Bernie, we'll move the dais and we'll have the face-off.